so today we're going to be speaking about the barbell, and especially in the context of a beginner's training. Should a beginner use the barbell? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Is it going to give you all the gains you've ever won, make you into Arnold, or is it going to kill you? We're going to talk about a few things. We're also going to talk about some alternative exercises if you feel like you're using the barbell and you don't want to. We could even talk about a little bit more maybe intermediates. When should intermediates be using the barbell? All right, so let's grab one. Barbell, pretty much the most classic piece of equipment you can find. I just want to say before we start, I'm not trying to say this isn't a great piece of equipment. Of course it is. What I want to address is specifically, is this something that everyone needs to be using? Because there's a bit of a kind of mythical feeling about the barbell where it's like,
you know, bro, if you aren't doing barbell bench press, if you aren't doing barbell squats, barbell deadlifts, you ain't gonna grow, you're not gonna get anywhere. Are you even training?
And that's not true. Okay, so if you're someone who is new to training, feels intimidated by the barbell, feels it's uncomfortable, or just generally doesn't really want to use it for whatever reason, this is the video for you. And so we're going to go over 5 of the most common exercises that beginners do with the barbell and almost feel pressured to do with the barbell. And we're going to look at, first of all, the problem. Why are we even talking about this? And how can we address this problem? In other words, what alternative exercises can we use to replace these common barbell exercises? Okay, so let's get into it. Squats. First problem, a lot of people, especially men, feel that the bar on their back is uncomfortable to grip. It hurts in their shoulders, reaching back, trying to get into this position hurts. So then they end up grabbing super wide, and even that feels uncomfortable. Again, this is not everyone, but a lot of people. Number 2, the exercise is somewhat intimidating for brand new lifters. If you're on your first day at the gym and your trainer or your friend is like, okay, let's just put this heavy weight on your back and just go for it, do some squats. Probably not going to go that well, probably going to be scared to go down low enough. And then third, when we're talking about a very small person, 45 kilo small woman, for example, the barbell weighs 20 kilos. So that's 50% more or less of her body weight. You shouldn't be doing that on your first day at the gym. You shouldn't be doing that on your second day at the gym. You will build up to it, yes, but the sort of standard weight of the barbell being what it is, it makes it a bit too heavy for lighter athletes or lighter trainees. And so a bonus point is that a lot of people, just because the bar is on their back, will be forced to lean forward a lot, and having the weight out in front of you, generally for a beginner, will allow them to stay a little bit more upright, and it will just be a little bit more comfortable, allow you to learn the movement a little bit more easily. And so the alternative exercise that we're going to choose is the goblet squat. Okay, so the goblet squat is a squat where you're holding up a dumbbell or a kettlebell in front of you. This exercise is way less intimidating for beginners. It allows you to stay more upright because you have the weight in front of you and offers most of the benefits of a normal squat. Now, you may argue you can't use as heavy weight on the goblet squat. That's fine. But in the beginning, you don't need that much weight. So I've also shown in another video an alternate to the goblet squat, which I named the hinge squat. I'll link the video, and that's a more advanced goblet squat if that's your concern. Back to the goblet squat. This solves the problem of the shoulder pain. This solves the issue of it being intimidating, and this also allows you to stay more upright. It allows you to learn the movement without all these things getting in your way. Going even further than that, you could do a backwards lunge, or a little bit more advanced, a Bulgarian split squat. If you look at the bottom position here, my knee and hip angle is pretty much the exact same thing as a barbell back squat. That means the effect we're having on the muscles is the same, and there are also some benefits in training your legs individually. So to do the Bulgarian split squat, I will actually make a video about that in the future. The backwards lunge is definitely one you should do and perfect before you go to the Bulgarian. So hold on to something if you need balance, take a big step backwards, drive with the front leg, squeeze the butt at the top, keep it nice and controlled, and you will have pretty much the exact same effect on your legs as a back squat without having to have the uncomfortable barbell on your back. All right, so barbell bench press. This is pretty much the #1 bro exercise that there is. As I said, if you love the exercise, feels good for you, go for it. This is for beginners who don't like it, don't want to do it, feel pain in their joints, shoulders being internally rotated, wrists being pushed inwards like that. That is a very common thing people feel in the bench press. Number two, for an absolute beginner, there may be a very big imbalance between the left and right arms, and that sometimes just causes the whole bar to start going sideways, and just generally the exercise doesn't look so great. Number three, and probably the most important one, it's dangerous to do this alone. If you're someone who trains with a training partner, or you're always going up to someone asking for a spot, that's great. But if you're like me and like many other people who train alone, you can't really do this by yourself unless you have the proper safety equipment. In other words, a rack with safeties, which a lot of gyms don't have. And so for those reasons, it is not the best exercise for most beginners. And so the solution to this is the dumbbell bench press. This gets rid of all these problems. You get to rotate your hands into a neutral position if you want. Your wrists can be neutral. It is completely independent left and right, and so if you do have big imbalances at the beginning, you will be able to balance them out, and it's not dangerous. If you fail a rep, nothing happens. Just get out of the position so you can push yourself closer to failure. You don't have to worry about a bar coming and guillotining you. I'm sure you've seen those gym fail videos. You don't have to be the star of one of those gym fail videos. You can push yourself. Once you get experience, once you get comfortable with the movement, once you see that it doesn't hurt your shoulder, go for it. Switch to the barbell bench press. If you like it, continue. If you don't, there's other options. So now number three, the barbell deadlift. Common problems. Generally, beginners don't have the best coordination of their lower back, their hips and their knees to get into the correct starting position, if they even know what the correct starting position is. Number two, a lot of gyms don't have the correct equipment. What you need for deadlifts is bumper plates. Bumper plates are 5 kilo plates, 10 kilo plates, 15 kilo plates, but that are the same diameter as 20 kilo plates. If you're deadlifting with one of these, you're going to have to go down super low. And if you're deadlifting with these, you can practice your form properly. A lot of gyms just don't have these for some reason. And so the solution, well, we got two. My number one would be a back extension. Back extension, again, you're going to hear people saying,
Oh, you're not using heavy weight, you're not going to grow.
This is simply not true. The back extension has a different angle, and if you're doing it and you're struggling to get 12 reps, you're in the muscle building range and you're going to grow your muscles. You're going to get stronger. Option number two is a kettlebell deadlift. So again, kettlebell deadlift, less intimidating. The bar doesn't get in your way anymore because it's a kettlebell. You can bend your knees how you want, and generally it's easier to set up the posture. And if your gym doesn't have bumper plates, it doesn't matter, you have your kettlebells. Our next exercise, the bent over barbell row. This one has got quite a few drawbacks. Number one, it's really hard on the lower back. Number two, if you have a, let's say, big stomach or really short T-Rex arms, the range of motion is going to be pretty bad. And if you have both of those things, the range of motion is going to be garbage, and you're not going to get a good training stimulus to the upper back. Number three, the posture tends to degrade very quickly during the exercise, and it takes quite a lot of body awareness to actually keep your posture in check, especially when the weight starts going up. And number four, only two hand positions, which for some people both will be uncomfortable. So the solution, you're going to have two chest supported rows as an option. Number one, with dumbbells. This one's great. You get a much bigger range of motion. Your stomach can't get in the way, and you can choose any hand position you want. Your lower back is not going to be the muscle that's going to be the limiting factor. Number two, I like even more, but not every gym has a cable machine that you can set up for a row like this. But if your gym has it, I would actually recommend this one for beginners. Another quick bonus exercise which I really like is the TRX or gymnastic ring row. Another great one to hit your upper back, hit your biceps, hit your lats with virtually no strain on the lower back. Great range of motion and multiple hand positions possible. And so last but not least, we have the barbell overhead press. Now this one has most of the same disadvantages of the bench press, plus a few other ones. So first of all, wrists and shoulders being internally rotated often can feel uncomfortable. People often don't have the overhead mobility to do this one properly. They don't have the mobility to move out the way of the barbell properly. And generally the exercise doesn't look too great on beginners. As with the bench press, solution is to use dumbbells, and probably to do it seated. You get rid of the problem of leaning back, you get rid of the problem of the shoulders and wrists being in weird positions, and just generally it's a more manageable exercise for a beginner than the barbell version. And so although that is a great substitute for the barbell overhead press, in reality, something like a front raise will probably give you the shoulder development that you want without all these problems, and probably a little bit more effectively too. So for the front raise, I like to do it with an incline bench so that you're getting a bit of stretch on the shoulder, drive the hands up, get to about face height, and then slowly lower them down. Now, even more important than that, for most people, especially men, when they're looking to increase the size and the visual appearance of their shoulders, you're going to want to make your shoulders wider. And for that, the overhead press, be it with a barbell or a dumbbell, is not really the best exercise. And so what you're going to want to do is a side raise. Now, I've made a whole video about the ideal way to do a side raise with a cable. If you're interested in that, I'll link that video now. Alright, so there you have it. I hope it was clear from the video that I'm not saying that these barbell exercises are bad. I'm just saying that for beginners, they are probably not always the best choice. If you're doing them and you love them, great. Continue doing them because you love them. But if you don't love them, if you feel they're uncomfortable, if you feel almost just, I have to do these because that's what all the guys are doing, don't fall into that trap. Do exercises that achieve your goals. Do exercises that build the muscle you want to build without any discomfort in the joints. There are so many other exercises other than the barbell exercises. Moving on from that, even intermediate lifters might find that some of these alternatives suit them better. You would be surprised how many pro bodybuilders actually don't use barbells maybe as much as you think. Yes, they do use them, but they do use a lot of other things. So don't put the barbell on this pedestal. It's not a mythical implement that is the only way to get strong. There are other options, and you shouldn't be training through pain. You shouldn't be training through any sort of discomfort. And if you are feeling that you just aren't gelling with an exercise, try think of an alternative that does the same thing without the problems. So if you like this video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That really helps me out. Tell me about it in the comments. Do you like these barbell exercises, or do you also find some of them uncomfortable? Which of the alternative exercises did you like the most? And if you're a beginner, leave your thoughts. What are the problems that you most have with your training? And I can maybe make a video about it. So thanks for watching, and see you next week.